Okay, so welcome everybody. So today we're going to talk about the Lobo Augment. Now it's been a little while because there's a lot of little changes that we had to see through to the end. The dreaded one shot, and they made a couple few changes. So let's jump right into it. So first we'll jump into hook pull. So I broke hook pull down into three categories. The actual hook pull itself, where he throws the chain and it grabs you and brings you to them. Cleave, and then the hook throw. So hook pull by itself, most of these loadout moves do base damage. Not a lot of them were scaling or anything of that nature. They were just a static based on CR and all the modifiers. So I was getting about 243,000, 244,000 with just doing the hook pull, just by itself, the chain. Now when you do cleave, you get an additional 348, let's call it 349,000 base damage added to the hook pull. So you're doing about 600,000 or almost 700,000 damage per every time you do that combo. Now with crits and things like that, it varies, but that was just the base numbers. You can't clip out of it. If you do, it doesn't really benefit you too much because you can clip out of the cleave portion, but you can miss the damage sometimes. But it's really not worth doing. The move itself hits in such a short period of time that it's really not worth doing anything different. Now, when you do hook pull and hook throw, there lies a difference. Hook throw and hook pull together are kind of spammable. It's a ranged attack. It's a medium ranged attack, not max range attack. And you throw your chain, and then you throw the hook itself, and you hit the enemies. Now on single target, it was doing more damage than it was on AoE targets. The damage dropped little more than half of the damage. We were doing about 140,000 on single target, and when we got to multiple targets, we were doing about 55, 56,000. So it did drop, but it was consistent without the crits. So that's something that you really should think about. It's a decent move. You can't clip out of that. You're stuck in the animation. Personally, I like this move, and then I don't like it at the same time. I don't really like to be stuck in animations. I like the freedom to move around, to have the ability to not be stuck in a situation where, in different instances you may get one shot. So just something to think about, but this move is one that I do enjoy and I do like. Alright, for the second move that we're going to touch Hunter's Arsenal. Now this is the ranged attack that the power set has. So just by itself, by using ability, you fire a shotgun blast at your target. Then after that, depending on what you do, you'll either fire a continuous shotgun blast or you'll fire a laser and a rocket. If you press melee 3 times, you'll do 2 additional shotgun blasts and 1 super shotgun blast. And if you press the range button, you'll do 2 lasers and 1 set of rockets. Now, depending on the situation, the damage is about the same. The shotgun may do more damage in AoE situations just because there's more ads and you'll get more damage. And the rockets, depending on how they hit, the rockets themselves will do good AoE damage. The laser is single target, so you'll only be hitting 1 ad with that, so that's something to look out for. This you can fire, move around. I like this ability. It's pretty cool. I wish it was faster. It's not fast enough to me, the cooldown itself, because if you do the shotgun, you can finish the shotgun and wait for it to cool down, so you can't pop it again. So it's not really spammable to the point where you can consistently use it and try to figure out how to make that work with your loadout. You'll have to use this move if you're using the shotgun and then go to a different one. It's a little bit tricky, and when we get into the bounty hunt, that's why these are one of the moves that I don't know if this is one that I will consistently use because of that mechanic and that power set in this. Okay, so now we're going to jump into Space Dolphin Swarm. This damage is a split, so no matter how many targets you have, you're going to do the same amount of damage. I believe it was 273,000 per enemy, so it's a decent amount of damage. I don't like the speed that the cooldown is, and I don't like the speed of the attack, so it's slow in my opinion in both aspects of it. The cooldown is long, and the attack is long itself to come out, and it's so short. I don't like the X pattern that they attack. It's aesthetically it's not for me. I don't care for it. Even hyped up, the extra dolphin, I don't like that either. I don't really want to waste my hyped up in bounty hunt on that. So dolphins are cool in real life, but it's not something that I'm not a Pokemon master. I'm not going to have these things attacking for me. So I don't like it. This is not an ability that I personally will use, but it just all depends. And we're going to touch the next session where you may want to use it depending on how things work out for you. Okay, so now we'll get into the supercharge. Spacehog Rampage. This is an interesting supercharge because the duration is not that long. You can clip it, you can call down Lobo, and you can clip it with your weapon buff. Since everyone has access to Stoke Flames actually clips faster than the weapon buff. So you can call it down and instantly clip it. And it does the most damage out of all the 5Ks. So it was doing 16 mil unhyped, and when you're hyped it was doing 19 mil. So it was doing a decent amount of damage. He's not out that long, but the duration that he's out versus the cooldown time just seems a little bit off. It almost seems like the cooldown time needed to be less. Like maybe if you're in a hyped up phase, then you reduce the cooldown by a third or something to that nature to make it really worthwhile to use that supercharge. It's good, but since it's so short and it's also a cone, so if you use it unhyped up, it's a smaller cone, and if you use it hyped up, it's a bigger cone, and it also gives them the burning effect, but you don't get any DOT damage from burning. It's just the burning effect. So I don't know how beneficial that really is. An extra 3 million damage for being hyped up in bounty hunt. I would rather not use that. Okay, so now we get into the big dog, which is bounty hunt. So bounty hunt is it's a good ability. We have to talk about it pre-update. So pre-update, it was doing 2 buffs. It was buffing you for 8% might per the stats, and it was buffing you for 4% precision. So you were getting 16 and you were getting 8. That's not what you were actually getting. You were getting 12.8 might, and then you were getting 6.6 precision. So that's what you were getting originally before the update, where they changed the one-shot mechanic and they didn't do the double buff anymore. So now instead of 16 and 8, you're getting 15 and 7.5%, but you're not getting that either. It's less than that, and you have to forgive me because I don't remember where I wrote it down in my notes. You're getting 11.8% might, and then you're getting 6.4% precision. Now, since they dropped it the 1% of might instead of 15% might, 16% might, you're getting 15. Instead of 8% precision, you're getting 7.5. Of course, it's going to go down. So you're getting a little less of the buff. Instead of 12.8, you're getting 11.8. So it's a 1% difference. And instead of 6.6, you're getting 6.4. So there's a difference in the buff that you're getting. Now, with that being said, you don't have to worry about doing it twice to get the maximum buff. As soon as you do the bounty hunt mechanic and you have the target get the scorpion poison on it, you have it, which is good. So let's talk about that. So all the abilities in the Lobo Augment have a different degree of giving you the scorpion poison. So the hook pull was at 50%. The Hunter Arsenal, the shotgun, was at 30%. The Space Dolphins is at 80%. And Spacehog Rampage, which is supercharge, is 100%. So you can use Bounty Hunt and not using any of the loadout abilities. You can also apply Scorpion Poison, but you have a 10% chance of doing it. So to really maximize your ability to get the Bounty Hunt buff, you want to add one of these abilities. So if it was all about the buff, you would add Space Dolphin because there's an 80% chance. Being that hook pull is spammable to a point, you have a good chance of doing that too at 50%. The Hunter Arsenal is 30%. Honestly, I don't use that at all in my testing. I don't use that at all. it was either I was using hook pull or I was using that in tandem with the dolphin swarm. And the supercharge will give you 1 stack because you need 3 stacks to activate this. So bounty hunt itself, the buff is worthwhile. It's a great buff. You just have to figure out how you're going to make it synergize with your loadout. Is there 2 abilities that you can either remove or you can add these 2, bounty hunt and one or the other, so that way you can proc this. Because without that, it's really kind of pointless to use bounty hunt. A 10% chance and you have to do it 3 times. That's pretty rare. So that's something that you really need to think about. I put in here if you star hunt. If you use starfire and you use bounty hunt, you get an 18% might increase. So that's a big increase in damage that you can put out if you're a might based DPS. So it's definitely something to think about. For me personally, because I haven't played around with it a lot, I think that I'm going to add hook pull and bounty hunt to my loadout. I'm going to figure out 2 moves that I can swap in and see, how that damage would work out, because I think that's going to be my best option to maximize this artifact. Now, in my opinion, if you're fire or if you're water, definitely level this artifact up, because the fire augment is doing nothing for you if you're fire, and the water augment is doing nothing for you if you're water. So you have an open slot to be able to do something, and you might make use of this. Maybe you don't want to use bounty hunt. Maybe you want to use the supercharge, and you can. Maybe you don't want to use any of them. Maybe you want to use, Hunter's Arsenal. There's things in here that you can use and configure with your loadout to make it worthwhile. Now, overall, I'm not the biggest fan of this. I think that a little bit of tweaking and this could have been great. Hook pull, if you were able to use it and move around, I think that would have made this a great ability. Hunter's Arsenal, I do like the shotgun. I just wish the cooldown was less. And the dolphins, as I said, I'm not a fan at all. And the supercharge has the potential to be great if it either lasted for a longer duration or if the cooldown was less, and if it worked better with the hyped up mechanic from bounty hunt to where you not only did more damage but it reduced the cooldown. So a lot of talking. Hope this was enjoyable and helpful, and we'll do some more testing, and I'll see you in the next video. So I appreciate you guys, and have a good one.